And her name's Carol. She's my cousin. She lost a 4-year battle with lung cancer. Never smoked a day in her life, but it was just it was a really rough battle, and she fought with everything she had, and she lost. And she was really special to me. She was I don't know how this works with like the second cousin once removed thing. I don't know what exactly you call her, but she's somewhere in that realm of cousin. And she was actually, her family kind of lost touch with our family for a while, because when she was a kid, her family moved her from Connecticut to Chicago, which was a world away, and they didn't really have a way of keeping in touch back then like they do now. So they lost touch, but then she got really into genealogy, and she started following my certain family members, especially my family, on social media and whatnot. And it was kind of a crazy story. When my cousin, I got called up to the majors, he became a Met, and he and my mom had posted on Facebook, and she said, I'm so proud of my nephew. He's now a Met. And then at the same time, Carol, who had not been back in touch with the family at this point, posted and said, I have a cousin, he's a Met. And there was a mutual friend, one of my mom's really good friends happened to be really good friends with Carol, and said, surely there's a connection here. And she reached out to them both, and Carol says, yeah, I know Jill. I used to play with Jill when I was a little kid. We lost touch. So Leslie got them back into touch. And then I started going on tour a lot with my band Witherword. And they all came out to hear me play. I played in New York City at the Bitter End. It was a big deal because Lady Gaga played there once, and I was all excited. I was young. And they all came out to the show, and I got to meet everyone, like this whole section of my family I'd never met before. And then we got kind of close, and we started touring, and she would always go, come stay with us, when they moved to San Francisco. And she would let my bandmate Edward and I stay with them. And then my now husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, Brad, they got to know him, and we all just kind of became really close. They followed us on tour a bunch of places. They came to London. We played in London. They flew there just to see us perform in London. And we would meet up all over the place. And then we found out she had cancer, and surely she was going to make it through, right? But she didn't. And I got to see her one last time, and I went to Arizona for just before my 40th birthday in February. And she was in town, and I said, oh my goodness, Mom, I don't know if I have time to see her. And she said, oh yes you do. I don't think you're going to get to see her again. And thank God I made that time. And we had a really nice last dinner. And then we started hearing about how she was failing shortly afterwards. And her husband, Art, called me to tell me the news, and that she was really failing very fast. And I said, he gave me the whole update, like full detail, everything. And then I said, wow, thank you for telling me all that. I'm so sorry. But also, how are you? How are you doing, right? And he said, every day, my heart breaks into a million tiny pieces. And then my friends and family come, and they put it back together again with all the love and support, just so it can break all over again the next day and repeat. And that is how I'm doing. So I wrote this song, and then I played it for Art, and I wrote the song in a half an hour, and he said, that's because you didn't write it, you received it. You know what I mean? And I think he's right. So, I mean, I give him songwriting credit on this, because he wrote most of these words. He just didn't know he was writing a song at the time, or I guess that we were receiving it together. And then Carol passed, and Brad and I got to go to we couldn't make the funeral, but we did make the Shiva. We're Jewish. So I don't know if you guys know what a Shiva is. It's like a 7-day family gathering, more or less, after the funeral. And he's a rabbi, in fact. Art's a rabbi. And I thought, wouldn't it be really nice if I could translate this one of the last chorus into Hebrew? Now, yeah, I know, I don't speak Hebrew. I wasn't I wasn't bat mitzvahed, my sisters were. I wasn't, so I don't really know. And then we kind of stopped going to temple a long time ago. So that was an undertaking, but he knows how to speak Hebrew, so I mean a little bit at least. So I said, can you help me with this? So we got on a video call, and he helped me translate, and he really helped me with the pronunciation of all these words that I'm just going to royally screw up right now. But I'm gonna try. And this is for Carol and Art. He called to give me the news. It wasn't the kind that's good. We're trying one last thing to heal her beautiful brain. She's the bravest woman I know, fighting with all her glow. But when I stopped to ask, but how are you? Here's what he said: 1,000,000 tiny pieces. That's how my heart breaks. Every single day increases how much I can take. And all the love from family and friends, put it back together again. I'm just 1,000,000 tiny pieces to mend. Now it's in God's hands. He sure has got a plan. It may not be enough for us. He sure is sending all of our love in 1,000,000 tiny pieces. That's how my heart breaks. Every single day increases how much I can take. And all the love from family and friends, put it back together again. I'm just 1,000,000 tiny pieces to mend. It's not your time to sing yet, Garfunkel. You get your turn. מיליוני רסיסים, כך ליבי מתרסק. כל יום רק עוד צער, קור אנחנו נפער. אהבת משפחה וחבריי, קודרק אל תוך ליבי, לקהות אל מיליוני הרסיסים. I'm 1,000,000 tiny pieces to mend. Thank you guys so much. Love you all. Nice to meet you.